Not a lot of information has been shared about the 992 GT3 RS yet, but that doesn't matter, because this is a car that speaks for itself. And what it's telling us is that Porsche has gone full beast mode. For years we've been waiting for Porsche to remove the restraints from their engineers and allow them to design to their full potential. And from the looks of this car, somebody very high up finally gave that order. Because while normally the RS trim is only a small step up from the standard GT3, this time around, the RS is being advanced generations beyond the standard GT3. Topping the list of this very impressive aerodynamics package is the obviously enormous rear wing. It's a biplane design where the two aerofoils are not completely parallel. Biplane wings on cars are still very new, so it's tough to say how much this might change between what we're seeing here and the actual production version. The wing features swan neck vertical supports to allow for cleaner airflow and increased downforce. And although they're being covered by bulky plastic moldings, the design for these is probably finalized. The end plates are extremely rudimentary, and we can expect them to undergo multiple redesigns. We might end up seeing something basic like what is on the Cup car, but we'll more likely get something exotic, like what is found on the retro 935-19. The next most prominent aerodynamic feature is the group of extractor vents that adorn the front fenders. Directly above the wheels are openings to relieve the air pressure created by the spinning tires. The strake vents behind those seem to serve less of a purpose, as they're only a few millimeters above the inner fender and closed up at the back, but this will probably change with future designs. Behind the front wheels, the fenders look to be developing into box flares to create huge, uninterrupted outlets. This feature is still extremely crude and will probably undergo several rounds of redesigns, as right now they look to be little more than a thin sheet of aluminum taped to the car, with another small piece of aluminum providing structural support. The bottoms of the flares are not flush with the rocker panels, and hopefully on the production version, they will be blended into extended side skirts again like on the 935. The meshing on the upper vents and the prominent front air deflectors suggest that we might not see a louvered design like on previous GT3 RSs. If you look closely beneath the car, there looks to be some mysterious ground effects behind the front wheels. These are either for venting heat away from the brakes and radiators, or for channeling air under the car. And one aerodynamic update that you might not be able to see is the increased laminar airflow over the rear of the vehicle. The rear wing and spoiler work together to control the direction of airflow, and gone are the twin air scoops in the deck lid. The deletion of these with the introduction of the swan neck vertical wing supports helps to control the speed and turbulence of the airflow as it exits the vehicle, thereby reducing drag. At the moment, the front fascia is almost identical to what is found on the standard GT3. We can expect to see a much deeper front splitter in the future. There are huge intakes in the rear quarter panels, which are being concealed. And the front and rear fenders are significantly wider than on the standard GT3. The rear of the car is the most camouflaged, but underneath the temporary bumper cover there are most likely large multi-purpose vents on each side of the car, like on previous models. And the rear diffuser will probably become deeper and more aggressive. On the hood, we just have two huge bulges with cutouts that are nearly as big. These are most likely for venting air away from the intercoolers. These are extremely rough, and the finished product will probably look nothing like this. The car is expected to have a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat-six engine, which many are speculating to produce 550 horsepower. And the only transmission option will be the PDK gearbox. The 992 GT3 RS seems to have a theme, and that theme is huge. Huge wing, huge intakes, huge bulges, huge brakes, and huge fenders. We can also expect the performance to be huge, because the unofficial job of the GT3 RS is to beat Ferrari and McLaren badges around the racetrack. And neither Ferrari nor McLaren have been sleeping during the last few years, so the GT3 RS has its work cut out for itself, especially since it needs to beat these cars with nearly half the horsepower. So when will we see a finished GT3 RS? Unfortunately, not for a while. The standard GT3 is brand new, and there's usually a 2-year gap between the two cars. Porsche also has a lot of engineering and development to do, because the last car of this magnitude that they produced was the 991.2 GT2 RS, which was nearly 3 years ago in 2018. And while Porsche has been busy building cars like the Macan, the Cayenne, and the Taycan, McLaren has been busy building cars like these. And Porsche will not be putting this car on sale until it is a world beater. So the soonest we can expect to see this car may not be until sometime in 2023. And while that might sound like a long way off, Porsche has numerous exciting cars that it will be debuting between now and then to keep us excited. And every once in a while, we'll be seeing an updated prototype of the GT3 RS running around the track that will no doubt get us more excited and probably make this car even more mysterious than it already is. But one thing is for sure, if you're planning on buying one, it'll be worth the wait. But whether you're planning on buying one or not, there's still plenty to be excited about. Because the GT3 RS is more than just a new car, it's a sign. A sign that in a time when automotive manufacturers are abandoning everything we love about cars, Porsche is moving back to its roots, and once again becoming the car company who believes that soul and connection and passion and experience are just as important as safety and gas mileage and regulations and profit. And that is something we should all be thrilled about. Thanks for checking out this video. For more Porsche content that cannot be found anywhere else, click below to subscribe to this channel.